2 years ago, when I left India and came to Madrid, Spain, to pursue my master's here, I was really excited to know what is fintech and whether should I pursue a career in it. I know it's really difficult to take a decision by doing just some Google search. And yes, I also just listened to my heart's voice and took this course to do major in fintech. I absolutely understand the pain of this confusion and I don't want my viewers to feel it. So I thought of interviewing some really successful fintech leaders and plan to ask all the questions that we mostly have, especially after this unfortunate circumstance of COVID-19 pandemic. So today I'm recording this clip after interviewing Sandeep, who is a Fintech Leader of India. No matter you're a student or an investor or working for a company, I bet you that you will find this interview really helpful. So are you excited? Let's start. Hello financial programmers. Today I am going to talk to one of the most amazing personality I have ever met, Mr. Sandeep Jethwani. Let me give a brief intro of my guest. Sandeep is an IIM Bangalore alumnus and pursued Bachelor of Engineering from VJTI Mumbai. Previously, he has worked with HSBC, Kotak Wealth Management and IIFL Wealth. Just before co-founding 𝐤𝐸𝐻, his job role was Senior Managing Partner and Head of IIFL 1. He has extensive work experience in wealth management and is now building 𝐤𝐸𝐻 to deliver high quality ultra HNI investing solutions to smart professionals. And watch this video till the end and I'll share some details of upcoming contest by Team 𝐤𝐸𝐻. Trust me, the awards are amazing. That's about the introduction. Let's carry on with our interview. He's a co-founder of an Indian wealth tech startup, 𝐤𝐸𝐻, and has more than 16 years of experience in wealth management industry. And of course, he's an expert in wealth tech, which is a part of fintech, specially made for wealth management. We'll talk a lot about this thing in this call. Today, I'm having a virtual coffee with him as he's an expert of financial technology. I'm quite sure that I'm going to learn a lot from him today. So if in future you get to know that Sandeep has become a pioneer in wealth tech in the world, then you should not be surprised. Hi Sandeep, welcome to Financial Programming with 𝐿𝐿𝐻. How are you?
𝐿𝐿𝐻, I'm good, but only now I'm a little nervous after you said all of that stuff. But super excited to be here with you on this call. I've been watching your YouTube channel for a while now, and what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I'm thrilled to be on this virtual coffee with you today. Cheers, and let's get started.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today. Actually, it's my pleasure to talk to you today.
That's great. It's my pleasure as well, 𝐿𝐿𝐻. And like I said, it's always great to chat with young folks. We learn a lot along the way. So I think it'll be a mutually educative session for both of us.
Okay, so without any further ado, let's directly jump to all the questions that I have made from last 2 weeks actually. So as we know that you are
a lot of preparation.
Yeah. Anyway, so because we know that you are an expert in wealth tech, so I'm very much interested to know what is basically wealth tech and how is it growing globally and in India specifically.
So 𝐿𝐻, I think it's an interesting question and great to set the context on what we're going to talk about. Wealth tech is a subset of the larger fintech ecosystem or industry. Our objective within wealth tech is to deliver wealth management solutions to end users using technology. Now, fintech or wealth tech have in some sense always been around. It's not that this is something that's happening in the last 5-7 years. In some sense, banks have always used technology at some level. It's only now that they're using it much more. And wealth managers have used technology, but at a much lower scale before this. Now, what is the critical difference between fintech and wealth tech? And there's an emotional answer here in some sense. In fintech, a lot of the technology that has been used to automate existing processes, right? So earlier, what a teller was doing is now being done by a technology platform. Bookkeeping, which was done by an individual probably a couple of decades ago, is now being done by technology. And the interface which the user would have with a bank is now being done by technology. wealth management is a very unique problem. Most of the work that wealth managers do is less financial and more emotional. And therefore, wealth tech has an interesting challenge of connecting with the user emotionally. And here I'm talking specifically of the B2C segment, where wealth tech companies like Deserve interact with the end investor. We have to replicate the experience that the user would get when he would be talking to a human being on the other side. So, in a sense, wealth tech is a very unique problem statement. It's a point where we are trying to combine technology with human experience and with the emotional connect that we need to deliver to the end user. So, in general, I think though wealth tech in terms of numbers has been growing very rapidly, arguably, and data is not very good on this. There is close to 110 trillion dollars of assets which are passing through wealth tech platforms today. You would have heard of names like Robinhood,
Yeah.
Wealthfront, Public, etc. In the West, and even in Asia now you're seeing a lot of wealth tech players emerge: Lufax in China, �ፀ𝐲𝐝𝐵, and many others. In terms of the funding environment for wealth tech, last couple of years have been very interesting. I was actually amazed to see this information and data that private equity or VC space was close to $5.2 billion.
Okay.
In the first quarter of this year alone, January to March, we have already crossed $5.2 billion in just 3 months. So obviously, investors are recognizing the opportunity in wealth tech. Some great innovations are coming up in this space, and I'm super excited to be a part of the industry.
Oh, that's so great to hear. As you mentioned that wealth tech is more of an implementation of technology in wealth management. But if we talk about the traditional wealth management, it's more of the relationship building between the company and the clients, right? So if we
That's right.
implement technology, won't we miss this part to make a very good relation between the company and the clients?
Absolutely. And Ritvik, that is the core challenge that wealth tech companies face, is how to build that emotional connect with the client.
Okay.
And that goes into how we communicate, what kind of design practices we follow, how the product interface is built to understand the user and engage with him. Uh, but having said that, there are a lot of advantages also that wealth tech companies have. And having been a wealth manager, I think I'm now able to see this much more clearly from the inside than from the outside. What is the challenge that a wealth management company faces today? The central headquarters of a wealth management company will design a great strategy, will design a great investing solution, will design great communication. But the client's experience is only as good as the relationship manager who's meeting the client. Uh, I'm I may have a great backing of a great wealth management company in terms of research, products, etc. But if as a wealth manager I'm not able to communicate and build a relationship with the client, all of that is no good, right? And that is the challenge that wealth management companies are facing today. Wealth in India and globally is growing at a disproportionate pace, and the talent pool in the industry have not been able to keep pace with this. And that is why I believe wealth tech has an opportunity. There is now a possibility of companies, of wealth management companies, to use technology to connect directly with the client and build a direct relationship with the client. So I think what used to be a disadvantage is now turning into a very big advantage. The second thing, Ritvik, that is happening is that client behavior is changing. Right today, people are adopting technology in their daily lives at a pace which is unheard of, unthought of before. When we were thinking of setting up Deserve, it was in the pre-COVID era, before this kind of usage of technology was happening. Today, in the post-pandemic world, the use of technology has now rapidly increased. Human interactions like the one we are having are now happening using a technology platform. So I think it's a very exciting time to be in wealth tech. I personally feel that the combination of increased wealth and increased adoption of of technology by clients is a very, very big opportunity for all of us.
Okay, yeah, absolutely agree. Like once upon a time, people had to call brokers to buy stocks and etc. Now everything is based on technology. So maybe in wealth management also, something revolutionary will be done in next maybe 5 or 10 years, right?
Absolutely, I am super bullish on this space, and I think that, and even for high quality professionals, it's a great opportunity. A lot of your listeners are budding financial programmers, are potentially people who are going to work in the financial services space. I would strongly recommend them to look at wealth tech as an opportunity. I think this is the best time ever to do that.
Okay, and talking about the unfortunate scenario of COVID-19 that happened, like we are actually currently in this phase only. So, how do you see COVID impact on financial services, and like what would be the opportunity for all the fintech companies or wealth tech companies?
So, Ritvik, I genuinely believe out of every crisis comes an opportunity. Okay. And this has been probably the biggest crisis of our lifetime.
Mm,
People have lost lives, people have lost close family members, etc. And it's extremely tragic. But
absolutely
I
agree.
think because of that, there is increased appreciation of the fact that you need financial security. uh, when events
Okay.
like these happen, the importance of risk comes out much more clearly than ever before. And today we are seeing savings rates go through the roof, not only in the US, but also in India. People are saving much more than they ever did. People are far more inclined to investing for the future. People are looking at ways to better their current investment portfolios. So I think that the appreciation for investing in general is increasing. If you look at India alone, the flows into mutual funds as a whole, especially by retail investors, is indicative of this big mega trend, which I believe will happen. Uh, the COVID crisis has also caused global central banks to keep interest rates very low, which is a further reason that people who are earlier investing in fixed deposits are now looking at alternatives to those kind of asset classes. So, in general, even from the fact that interest rates are lower, opportunity for investing or investing based businesses is increasing.
Digging into the technology behind, I would say, prospective technology behind wealth management, wealth tech industry, do you see blockchain as an important part of wealth tech?
Absolutely. India or globally, one of the reasons why people invest in with somebody is on the basis of trust. And blockchain is one of an interesting developments on the trust-based framework, right? So a lot of vetting, verification,
Mhm.
which otherwise was being done by human beings, can be now done by blockchain. The fact that your money is secure, that your money is in safe hands, can be ascertained using blockchain uh, in general. And specifically, the rise of digital currencies led directly by this blockchain movement, I think is interesting. However, especially for Indian investors, we have advised caution on investing in these digital currencies at current levels. But I think from a long-term perspective, digital currencies are here to stay. There will be interesting opportunities, and I think it will form a meaningful proportion of long-term portfolios for clients. So, in general, blockchain is not only changing the mechanism of wealth tech, but also what you invest in.
Okay, so are there like the problems in regulations?
Yeah, there are. I mean, India has obviously had its share of concerns around that, especially with to do with money laundering and some of those other implications that cryptocurrencies bring with them. My sense is that the regulations will also evolve very fast. The regulators globally are waking up to this opportunity. Smaller countries, in fact, are beginning to adopt cryptocurrency. We saw recently El Salvador take up cryptocurrency as a legal tender.
Yeah,
Uh,
Bitcoin. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it is possible that in the future there will be a more understanding and more regulation around this. I see countries like Singapore being leaders in that, setting up those systems, and India will evolve and learn from the global experiences also.
Wealth tech, we already like in fintech industry, India has done really well. There are many companies who have like performed really well in fintech, but wealth tech is something that is being started right now. So do
Mhm.
you like think that India, like what would be the growth of wealth tech in India with respect to the growth of wealth tech in other countries like America or Europe?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it goes is the existential question for deserve also. So,
Okay.
Ritvik, typically, whenever a new industry evolves, you see first the base or the plumbing get established for that industry,
Mhm.
and on top of that, people create solutions, right? And the similar thing is happening in wealth tech in India. You've seen the plumbing or the first layer of transaction execution getting digitized first. So you have leading players like Zerodha, you have other brokers like Angel Broking, etc., who have done a great job on digitization of the execution side. The next step, which is the natural evolution, is this whole evolution of wealth tech into understanding the client and building portfolios that are suitable to every individual investor. That is where I think the wealth tech industry now needs to evolve into. As a wealth tech player, how do I understand my client? How do I build a customized solution for that particular individual? Is going to be the next stage of challenges that the wealth tech industry gets into. And whoever solves these challenges in a way that the clients can appreciate it is going to be the winner or the leader in this opportunity. And by the way, I think there are multiple niches. I think the interesting thing about technology is that you don't have to be one size fits all. You have the ability to customize, you have the ability to focus on a niche, and that is where the opportunity for wealth tech in India also exists, because India is not one country. India is many countries within one.
In your opinion, which country is already quite developed in wealth tech?
Look, I think it's about the ecosystem of support that, let's say, a Singapore is laying out in the wealth tech system is interesting. I think
Mhm.
specific solutions or regulations for these companies are emerging in Singapore, and I'm
Okay.
quite excited. I'm hopeful that global regulators pick up on this and try and learn from these experiences and implement them in their countries. I genuinely believe that the regulatory framework
Mhm.
will evolve over a period of time to adjust to the new industry reality. And by the way, SEBI in India has been very foresighted. They have been moving very fast. They've been addressing or creating new regulation, which is designed for the wealth tech industry. So I'm very hopeful for Indian regulation also.
And which other fintech sectors apart from wealth tech do you believe have a very good potential in India or globally?
So, Ritvik, I'm biased because I'm a big believer in this whole fintech story. So, I would like to say everything.
Okay.
But I specifically, I think the lending side still is evolving. While a lot of
Yeah.
companies have made great strides on that side, I think that is something that is interesting. That is on
Mhm.
the B2C side. On the B2B side, the platform players will emerge. There will come a time when to set up a bank, you will have ready-made software and you can launch a bank practically in a month or two. I think that is the other opportunity, which is platform providers for the entire financial services ecosystem. And there are a couple of very good companies in India which are emerging in this space.
Okay. So my last question to you, Sandeep. Before the last question, let me share the contest details that is being conducted by Team Deserve. Just after publishing this video, there will be a post on Deserve LinkedIn handle, and you just need to ask wealth tech related questions in the comment section of that post. People with the 10 most insightful questions will be getting a free consultation for Deserve's investment plan with an expert team. There can be some gift hampers as well. And what's the cost of participation? It's nothing. So go ahead and check it out after this last question. And make sure to follow Deserve LinkedIn handle, as awards are only for the community members. Link is in the description box. It's a very general question, and it's like, I just want to know your opinion here. Do you see fintech or wealth tech as an innovation, future of money, or mode of bringing social change?
Oh wow, that's it. That gets me thinking actually. Future of money and innovation are the means, but the end goal to my mind is massive social change, right?
Okay.
And this is a little bit of a philosophical point, but I'm actually concerned about the growing disparity in wealth in India and globally, right? In a sense, there is a certain group of people who are not getting the right access to both opportunities of every kind. Like it can be opportunities in jobs, education, or even investing that they should get. And on the other hand, there's a select set which has ample of these opportunities, right? And that disparity is now beginning to grow. For me, wealth tech is the hope to address this gap in some sense. And in general, all the players in wealth tech are essentially motivated to do that, which is to bridge the gap, to give opportunity of great investing to people who today did not have it. So I think that there is a massive possibility of positive social change that wealth tech can bring. Nobody has ever asked me that before, and I think it's a very interesting question to think about.
And I'm quite sure that Deserve will fill this gap very soon.
I hope so too. And this has been an exciting discussion. It's got me thinking on many fronts. And I hope your listeners will find it useful.
Thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you. Really appreciate this, Hrithwik. Thanks a lot.
I'm really glad to interview Sandeep on financial programming with Hrithwik. If you want me to conduct more such interviews, then like this video. If it crosses 100 likes, then I would permanently add this feature on my YouTube channel. Let me know your opinion in the comment section, and if I missed any questions, then please mention in the comment section and I'll definitely consider it in my next interview with another great personality. Share this video with your friends and colleagues if they are interested to learn about wealth tech. And if you like my work and to stay tuned to my YouTube channel, click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and over there you can see another relevant video that you would love to watch. And over there you can see how I created a Bitcoin trading bot which actually generated some excess return. Thank you so much guys. See you in the next video.